Hello, my name is John, and today on Mono Story, we're going to be talking about Otto of the Flame and my first thoughts on the first 13 chapters. So let's get into it and find out if it's worth the read. The story starts off by giving a backstory of the country in which Otto is in, and how it is being attacked by the Ice Kingdom. In order to defend it, Otto is sent to a fort in which he is a cook. However, this fort is also attacked by the Ice Kingdom. As he is trying to flee from the Ice Kingdom's attack, he obtains this fire spirit that makes him this warrior, and now he wants to become a great warrior who will not only defeat the Ice King, but protect his country. Now, the positives of this story are that it has a very good art style. I love the way it looks and feels when he's using his flame abilities. It makes you feel very immersed. Another aspect that I thought was very good is the story direction, how we have a goal, we have to get to the Ice Kingdom, and the objective is by going through these certain steps to get to that point. And the way it does it is, I believe, very nice. It tells you how it's going to get there. Another very good aspect is the character interactions. Now, at the start, it's very clunky, and after the training arc, it does get a lot better in my opinion, and some of these talkative, more comedic areas are actually very interesting when you read them, and they do create a sense of camaraderie and fighting spirit, as well as when the characters actually able to show off their abilities in a more vibrant, or in the way the world is, icy setting, then I believe it shows off more of these interactions when they're fighting with each other and using their abilities and communicating with each other on the world that they're in. Now, this story has a lot of problems, and some of the negatives are just absolutely bad. First off, the story setting. It's set in an ice world, so it's only left being in an ice setting. There's nothing else that can be really changed because the attackers are all ice, so it limits everything. As well as, with that being said, it doesn't add any vibrance because everything's going to be in the story generally ice, so there isn't really much changes.
Hey, did you guys order some ice? Because I got a bag of ice here. Thought you might need some ice.
Yes, there is a lot of ice around here. We get it.
The next aspect I found was troubling. World building. I don't know where we're going in the story. I really don't know. I understand that where the direction is, what we need to do, but I don't really have a map, a clear idea. We're just going from location to location with no real verbiage or telling us where we're going. They're just giving us a name. So I don't know if this place is a very important place, if it's just a part of the location, if it's an important point of the story. Why are we here, other than what's been told to us in the story? Other than that, I have no idea why this location exists. Did it come from the past? Is it made by the Ice Kingdom? Why does these places exist? What are their purpose? That's another aspect I had trouble with. The villains themselves are quite forgettable. I literally cannot remember a single villain's name or who they were. They all looked very similar. They just used ice. That was their only ability. They did change up a little bit. One had an ice sword. One was using ice as a weapon of projectile, maybe. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. They're all bland, basic, boring, useless. There was one character, though, that did change and did do something for Otto to help him out. That was very interesting. But other than that character, this character that helped out Otto, another character comes, deleted in 2 chapters later. A useless character. Didn't even remember that person's name. An absolutely useless character. So that was another aspect I didn't like. And the history of the world, again, not very interesting, okay? All it is about is one kingdom attacking another kingdom. Why are they attacking the kingdom? Does Otto's country have something that the Ice Kingdom needs? Is it minerals? Is it weapons? Is it something else? And why are they attacking in the first place? Why can't they use diplomacy? Why can't they have conversations? Why is it always just a forced attack? Did politics break down? Did they not have the ability to communicate with the other kingdoms? Or is the kingdom just built on fighting? Being in the Valhalla story base that it is, similar to how Vinland Saga looks. And that whole entire aspect of history or the world is generally all about fighting. Is that the reason why they are only fighting? Why are we attacking the kingdom for? Why are we trying to take over the country? And the last really troubling point is Otto himself. I'm not really interested in the character. He comes from a weak background of being a cook. His father has been deleted in this war with the Ice Kingdom, so he's now looking after his sister, and now he has to go to this fort because he has to do cooking, and then he gains the ability. So what is there about this character that I need to know? Is he strong before, but something happened? Who was his father? Could you at least show us an outline or something that he told Otto that would make his connection to his father more stronger? What was his life like before the Ice Kingdom attack? Do we have any knowledge of this? Will they tell us in the future? I don't know. I don't even know if it will last that long, but the point I'm making is that he doesn't have any character. He is a cookie cutter Mary Sue character that seems like anything that gets in his way, he always seems to beat. And if he doesn't beat it, then someone will come and help him and he'll beat it anyway. So there's not really any losing or loss to this character. So he doesn't have any need to get stronger. Now, in my honest opinion, I think Otto of the Flame is actually good. There are some aspects, especially at the start of it, that make it really bad, but once you get past those aspects and you get straight to when the story has Otto with Etepirko and his flame spirit Freya, it gets a lot more interesting in how they're going through the story trying to get to the Ice King and the Ice Kingdom, and they're going from point to point, and it shows how the Ice Kingdom has actually attacked certain towns or villages. And the part that I really enjoyed and was really unexpected to me was how we actually found another spirit. So there are more spirits in the world, which I was hoping would happen, but it didn't really specify. I only thought there was going to be one spirit, the fire spirit. But it showed us this steel spirit, which was very unique, and how this new character that comes into our story is what seems to be a blacksmith. And in this part of the story, they go into a building or a cavern that was originally frozen over by ice, and in this cavern they have the spirit who has been trapped. And what this blacksmith does is she creates a sword that Otto uses, and he even makes a statement saying how he uses fire and steel together, and bam, suddenly he comes out with this massive sword on his arm. So it's a different sword than what he has already, with fire coming with it, and just rips up this enemy villain. And it's just absolutely beautiful scene, I thought. And then afterwards, his mentor, who was originally training with him on the mountain, Sixten, comes out and helps him with this other new villain. Seems to be stronger than Otto, even though he has two spirits. Again, crazy. And he defeats this new villain. And so that aspect, which happens around chapter 10, was really, really cool, I thought. But it takes you 10 chapters to get there, around chapter 10 to 13. And you've got to struggle through the other aspects of the story, which are very slow. Now, if I think it's a decent manga series, why is it then going to be getting cancelled? And in my opinion, I think it will definitely be getting cancelled. And we have to start with the big elephant in the room. It starts off with 2 chapters of fighting and then heads straight into a training arc. We don't get a lot of information about the story. We just head straight to this training arc where we are introduced to 2 new characters after getting introduced to like 5 new characters. And so now we're confused as what's going on and why is he even there? Because he has this ability now, he doesn't really need to train as hard. But that being said, he needs to be trained to get stronger, which is why they sent him there in the first place, I think, in my opinion. But his ability is so unique, nothing can really stop him at this point. And when he gets into a fight with the Sixten, his mentor, who forces him to fight, isn't like a duel to test his strength. It's like, I'm just going to fight you now. So that was very unexpected. It's not really necessary, and he says he doesn't want to use his ability, which is totally the wrong way to do it. What should have happened, if they wanted to make this an interesting aspect, is A, Sixten should ask him, hey look, let's duel, I need to see your strength. Or Sixten should have tried to attack him, and the Flame Spirit and Otto would have had a problem. Like, they couldn't connect initially, they couldn't work together. Now, I know that's a bit shonen-esque, very cliche, but it would have been a lot more interesting than him saying, I don't want to use my ability. Like, that's crazy. We all know when the Power Rangers are fighting, they're in their non-transformed forms. We're all going like, why you haven't transformed yet? Why are you not using your suits? Same aspect here. Why am I being told by this character that he doesn't want to use his abilities, he wants to get stronger on his own, when he has an ability? That's just silly. Another aspect that makes it so boring or basic is it's an ice kingdom. All the enemies are going to be in ice. What other changes are you going to do? Are they going to use some magical grass abilities? They can't even use fire abilities because that hurts them. What else can they do other than use ice? They have their own minions that are all ice derivatives of minions. That's it. ice creams and what seems to be some claw-looking crab thing, which we don't get any explanation to what these things are. They're just cool-looking things. Again, they should tell us what they are. Give us a little lore drop. Some point, like there's these, let's say, trolls. These trolls are generally very strong, but they lack intelligence. Easy. They could have told us that. Or like there's this aspect of this archer that's trying to attack Otto and Otto, and he doesn't get any information. Like, is he a good aim? Are they terrible aims? Why are they bad or good at aiming to begin with? Is their arrows poisonous? No, they're just minions. They have no capabilities of doing anything other than being fodder. So that's another point I think it's going to get it really cancelled very quickly. The power system. The power system is a Timu One Piece system, I think, in my opinion. It is basically just Haki with a devil fruit of the Meta Meta no Mi put together, if you want to look at it as Otto as an aspect. And anyone else that's using the abilities in the story are just using Haki, basically. That's it. Like Arm and Haki, pretty much. That's my opinion on it. It's just Arm and Haki for your body. So there is nothing wrong with that, but it's only explained one time. And so now, whenever I see them fighting, I'm like, what abilities are they using? What are they doing? Okay, other than Otto, who I know what he's doing with the fire, and then when he uses a steel spirit, that kind of is very cool and makes sense. But everyone else, I don't know what they're doing. Just doing bam, 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 this and that's happening. I'm strong because I'm strong, and that's it. That's what my power level. I don't even know if they have power levels. So that's another thing. And again, the Otto himself. Okay, Otto doesn't really have any weaknesses. He's fire. He has the advantage over the whole entire Ice Kingdom. Who can stop him? Who's gonna stop him? Seriously, who as the villain is gonna have an advantage against the fire? Your absolute weakness. 0. So it doesn't matter whether he's up against 10 villains, up against 10 minions, up against 100 of them, up against this one strong character that has intelligence and has the ability to have foresight or understands fighting or has strategy. Doesn't matter, he's fire. He'll just win anyway. Got the advantage over you. So that's another point. And the length of the story. Like, are we just going bam, 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 one after the other, after the other, after the other? 3 chapters, 1 point. 3 chapters, 1 point. Like, is there going to be a very, very long arc? Are we just going to get a few small arcs and the story's finished? What's going on? The length of it's going too fast. Too many things happening. Too many things are being introduced and they're not being explained. The last big aspect is it's fire. Otto is using fire. You couldn't come with any other abilities. There is so many different elements in the world and you come up with fire, the most basic ability in everything in this world that comes to fantasy. Everyone can use fire. In Pokemon, there's a fire starter. Everyone loves the fire starter, Charizard, Typhlosion, etc. You're talking even in Naruto, Sasuke's using his fire abilities. We're talking One Piece, Meta Meta no Mi. I can talk about again with Ace, okay? I mean, I could even play this clip.
Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Fire is as basic as you can get. There is nothing more basic than fire. It's as basic as the oven you use to cook your food. That's it. That's as basic as fire can get when it comes to the choice you could have used. And it's the centerpiece of your story. And that's the reason why it's going to get cancelled.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord.
And look, that's my take on Otto the Flame, my first thoughts. And look, it's a good story in my opinion. It has lots of potential. We just saw them use another spirit. The steel spirit had a face and everything. And I thought that was a cool scene. But in reality, that's a outlier in what seems to be a disappearing story. Let's be real here. It's ended in the back of Shonen Jump for the past few weeks now. It's taken the place of Nice Prison. Now, I don't know if being in the back is a good thing, but let me tell you, it's not being seen by anybody else, because when you go flipping through to find the one you want to read, let's say One Piece is at the front of the magazine, you want to read, let's say, Kagurabachi or Ichi the Witch or Ultimate Excess Kyoshi, you're going to see other manga in the magazine. However, with Otto of the Flame, it's at the back. No one's going to be able to see it. So it's just slowly going to be cut out of the magazine by the looks of it if it does not pick up its viewer base. And I don't think it will, because it has already got that bad reputation. If they'd done a training arc like Attack on Titan, they would not be in this problem. Attack on Titan had a beautiful training arc where it showed us how overcoming the weakness of the system, even though the system was broken from the start, shows us that Eren Yeager had the abilities of someone special. And that's what happened throughout the story, where we could have had that with Otto of the Flame. If they had done something like that, where he couldn't use his abilities, he couldn't change anything, or he was stuck against the wall and something happened. But now we're here where the story has already gone past that, and it's too late. It's too late to go back and change that. It will be getting cancelled. It might not. There might be a light somewhere that Otto of the Flame is holding onto it to stay above the water, and so that the other ships can see it as it comes through. But I don't think it's going to make it. I think it's going to start slowly drowning, and then it's just going to drift away like all the other stuff. And so that is my first thoughts on Otto of the Flame. However, I want to hear what you think. Do you think Otto of the Flame is a good or bad series? Please write down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, like, subscribe and press the bell button, please do so. And thank you so much for watching for the past couple weeks if you're a recurring viewer. If you're a new viewer, thank you for joining for the first time. If you haven't already liked, subscribe, press the bell button, please do so. This is John from Mono Story, and yeah, until next time, I'll see you on another Mono Story.